an activist, a campaigner for human rights, for women's rights, for democracy, for the rule of law, for justice, freedom. Although now I'm retired, technically, or officially I'm retired, in practice I keep active and I keep doing what I have always done. I think my power actually comes from telling the truth.
That is amazing.
That's what people come all the time to me, men and women, and say, keep doing it, you tell the truth. I feel more independent than ever. I was always a free thinking and acting person, but and I'm still a member of my party. But I was never going to be dominated by a sectarian approach, and I think part of being a loyal member of the party is to be critical when I think that criticism is deserved, is necessary. So that's what I do. I can go to the UN statistics or the EU statistics, and you have probably the most important thing for me is actually to have more women in power positions, in the European institutions, in the national government. I remember when I came to the European Parliament, I think I told you, my first report was exactly on the position of women in politics, in all sorts of, and the difficulty was even collecting the numbers, the figures at that time. Nobody knew, nobody cared. And I remember that the number of women although there was already a majority of women in all ranks, but not at the top ranks. And now things have dramatically changed, and you have a commission that is almost paritary, led by a woman, by the way. And you have a European Parliament that has about 40% of women. Obviously, this critical mass makes a difference. At the same time, we have setbacks. We have obviously setbacks in terms of the impact of the pandemic, in terms of objects of sexual violence, even normally at home, and as non-paid carers, for instance. At the same time, positive, we have less women globally object of FMG, or more women going to school. Setbacks definitely in Afghanistan, where I feel terrible for what has happened, and I feel that we Europeans are also co-responsible for what is happening in Afghanistan. At the same time, you have incredible, powerful revolt of women in Iran and contaminating the whole society. This started with the women rebelling against their oppression, and now it's about the oppression of the whole Iranian society, and it has been really amazing. And I'm only too sorry that we are in Europe so necessarily focusing on Ukraine, that we are probably not doing enough to show our solidarity to the women of Iran. This is very relevant to the women all over the Middle East, and I would say to the whole world, because if indeed things change in Iran, it can have tremendous implications for the whole world. In Ukraine, again, you have a mixed picture. Rape being used as a weapon of war, horrific. And there you see, this is not happening in other societies, in other cultural contexts, in other civilizations. It's happening in Europe with Europeans. On the other hand, I mean, look at the amazing resistance of the people of Ukraine and the women of Ukraine, and more than half there like everywhere else, and they are in the forefront of that amazing resistance in the military, in the digital army, let's say fighting disinformation, in the resilience networks to support the logistics for the army, for the society. It's amazing. But I'm absolutely clear that we need women at the table when the time for negotiations, real meaningful negotiations come, and for what will be necessary afterwards. This is a time where more than ever we need to be prepared to fight. And this is an ideological fight. We need to be savvy how to communicate, in particular to the young people, that they shouldn't assume that their way of life, with the freedoms that they enjoy here in Europe, cannot have major setbacks. I think in this respect it will be very interesting to watch what's going to happen in Italy. You have that woman now, Meloni, as Prime Minister. You may say, okay, it's a fascist, but it's a woman. And some people say, well, if men can be fascist, so can women be. Yes, but therefore we need to fight it, but cleverly, whenever it's not everything that she will do that will be wrong, because of course she's probably more opportunistic and will adapt to what she needs in order to survive and keep in power. But we need to be very strict to criticize what needs to be criticized and not be deterred by the fact that she's a woman, that we will not criticize if it deserves criticism, namely for putting in question basic rights of women and men. I don't think that we can live in today's world without indeed learning. Life is a learning process all the time, and by being 40 or 50 or 60 or 70, you're still learning, and you can learn and stay active and connected. And feel included by indeed learning the digital skills of today's communication and organized life in society. So you can do it. I have done it. I'm still doing it. Of course, I go back to my grandchildren when they are much more savvy than me on tech. But some tips can make a hell of a difference for me. I'm improving all the time with the knowledge and the experience that age has given us. We should not miss the opportunity to continue to make our contribution. Part of it will always be, of course, feeling in solidarity with others, and namely younger women, helping them. I think mentoring in every field could be a great activity, mutually enriching, and of course also we should look down. We should look at the kind of education that we give to the people around us, in particular our children and our grandchildren, in order to educate them for a feminist agenda, for an agenda of respect. Helping boys as much as girls indeed do the course and be better prepared for a sharing life is crucial, and that's exactly what you, as a grandmother, you must do it.